Hey, it's Keelan here, and I've got a very special guest for you today. They're a recent graduate on our flagship course, LMA, or Life Mastery Achievers, as we like to call it, at Success Insider. He's going to share with us his experiences on the course, where he was in his life just prior to starting, and really everything in between, so you can get a real good insider's picture of what to expect. So, without any further ado, let's just jump in with the introductory question, which is, what's your name, where are you from, and what do you do?
So my name's Chris Toole, and I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii. I go to the University of Hawaii for in the Thompson School of Social Work.
Okay, we've spoken before, of course, and you mentioned that social work is something that you'd like to move into in the future.
Yeah, I was thinking, if all goes well, I'll work in a hospital around the corner from me and help people with mental health, substance abuse issues get back on their feet.
Okay, fantastic. So let's start now by winding the clock a little bit, and I want us to really think about, if we may, where you were in your life just prior to enrolling on and joining LMA. What was it that was happening that made you think you actually need a change?
So I had just recently transitioned from I had quit smoking
Mm.
and multiple other bad habits. I was in a transition and I saw Tim and I saw one of his videos
Mm.
where he asked like, "Can I share this with you?" And it was so positive. And then another ad popped up that was like, "I want you to do list these 10 things." And I actually did the exercise and was like, "Wow, that was groundbreaking for me. Like I never would have come to this conclusion on my own." And then I had to like seek Tim out to try and because I stopped seeing ads.
Mm.
I had to look for him, and luckily one popped up, and um, yeah, so I might have gotten off track there,
No, no,
but
no.
that inspired me to join the course
Mm.
for sure.
Okay, so if we can drill a little bit into, so you say that, you just started smoking and some other bad habits,
Oh, yeah.
etc., that led to, a certain maybe headspace, a certain way of living that you weren't happy with. And actually, and as we've spoken before, I know you said you're okay with me sharing that you were quite depressed and a bit anxious. Just describe what a day would be like. How would you feel, before joining LMA?
Yeah, so I would wake up, I would sleep in, I would sleep in, and then I would get on my computer and start doing schoolwork. As you know, we have a pandemic going on, so classes are strictly online.
Mm.
So there are people all over the country that are we're just sitting on our computers for a long time, which I'm sure it's not just students, I realize now, but like it makes it hard to leave the house. And I became a shut in.
Mm.
And the more that I stayed in the house, the harder it became to leave. And the more I just would, I would distract myself. Like I would watch YouTube videos
Mm.
and yeah, I would just like mess around on the internet and then try and do all my schoolwork and like once a week go grocery shopping. So I was not a very productive person. I mean, I had like my good grade point average in school, but like it didn't mean anything, like that was my only good thing, I would say.
Mm. So
So yeah, I had a lot of room for progress.
So you felt the only good thing was that grades were going quite well, but internally and just day to day, you just how would if you could put it into a sentence, how did you feel day to day?
Like junk. Yeah.
Mm.
I
Mm.
felt like I was alive, but I was not living.
Mm. Okay, so you've described that process of the ads come up, but then they suddenly stop appearing, so you had to find it again. So I'm glad you did. But what I'd like to ask now is, what was the initial stages in terms of enrolling for you? Of course, you did join the course, which is why we're speaking today. But just prior, when you were thinking about joining, what were the maybe points of concern that you may have had, maybe some thoughts that could have prevented you from joining, and how did you overcome that?
Well, I, like I mentioned a second ago, the 10, he had an exercise where it was something along the lines of what do you want in life
mm,
and why? And then you continue answering why. And basically, I realized like that exercise, like this cannot be the only exercise. If after hearing him talk about the course, and I may have seen something from someone about week 2,
mm,
which to those of you guys watching, there's a certain exercise that in week 2 that just shatters all feelings of something. Maybe something went wrong in your life at some point, a trauma. It shatters the trauma basically, and you can move on. That was huge for me. So and that is just one of many fantastic ones. But what sold me was that doing that exercise and him talking about more exercises. And I just was like, I'm hungry to do more of those.
mm, So you'd already had that initial practice, so to speak, and feeling of what was to come, and for you that was enough. You'd had that engagement. It was like, yeah, that's I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, what would you say the main surprise? Yeah. What surprised you the most about the anime course? So you had a preconception, obviously, coming in. When you
Sure.
were now going through the weeks, etc., what actually stands out to you now when you look back and say, yeah, that was actually quite surprising in a positive sense?
Well, the integrity one
Mm,
was integrity was huge. Um, Talking to my future self was huge. Realizing that you're either operating from your past self or your future self. And that one, yeah. And I guess like, yeah, I'm my present self right now, but I'm not acting like I used to act, if this
mm,
makes sense, most of the time.
mhm,
I'm not perfect,
mm,
but I've definitely changed, switched to, I care more about what is going to happen in my life than I do what has happened in my
mm,
life.
mm. Okay, and so you would say that the biggest thing that surprised you was that you had that shift internally.
Massive internal shift. I used to care about social media. It's still something that exists now, but I try to just put it behind me now. Like, um, it's yeah, these things that it's so easy to hold on to things, and um, Tim showed me how to let go of things because they don't help anymore. Even if it's a good memory, now you're dwelling on something that happened a long time ago. So yeah, shifting focus toward the future and what can happen.
And so when you say you've shifted your focus towards the future and what can happen, and I presume you're talking in like a positive sense, not worrying
Yes,
about.
good
So
things.
so what would you say that's done for you specifically, focusing on a future image of yourself and what you'd be doing? How has that affected how you think and move through time and space day to day now?
Yeah, I I'm so I still have what you'd call ADD.
Hmm.
Despite my life changing, but how do I see, like, how do I go about life in the future or now?
So what I'm saying is, so in terms of you saying I'm focusing much more on the future now, and that's making me feel a positive sense of experience. And so I'm asking, how has that future focus changed your present experience, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So I enjoy, say it's surfing.
Mm,
Um, I love the wave that I'm on
mm,
more than, yeah, I may have had the best wave of my life last week, but now I'm on this one. And
mm,
in the past, maybe I would have wanted like a GoPro to like film that wave or something so then I could watch it again and things. And now I'm just enjoying life as it is. And it's
mm,
way more fulfilling to being enjoying right where you are
mm,
than it is to constantly look back.
mm,
And yeah, so I just keep my eyes on, I don't know. Tim talks about like delayed gratification.
mhm,
Um, Having my hopes on something that I'm going to do all the
mm,
time, looking forward. to things. I'm constantly looking forward to things.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So you've got a combination of in each moment, you're here, present, focusing on what's happening, and not thinking about, oh, I want to save this and bottle it up and keep it for later. It's just like, no, just
Yeah.
it is what it is, and then that combined with looking into the future in a positive sense, and that kind of leading you in a way, but feeling the experiences in each moment. Is that a good way to summarize it? How you feel?
Yeah. That's perfect, dude.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, I just want to say also, well done for yourself for making that commitment to yourself, seeking out the information, right? Because you could have just given up even at that point, right? When you had that first exercise, it's, oh, I'm never going to find this again. But you didn't. You kept at it, and you've kept chipping away at this journey. And now, of course, there's always more work to do. It's a life process, this self mastery. But it couldn't have happened without your dedication and your input as well, right? So I just want to let you know that. So what would you say, if there was someone who's watching this and they're really feeling, Christopher, I don't know if this is for me. I don't feel good right now. I know that, but why is this going to be anything different? What I don't yeah, I don't know. What would you say to that person?
So this course brings on a change that other people see in you, and they're happy for you. And because you're happier, they're happier, and it improves everyone, and not just your life, but the people's lives around you. Um, if you're a person with roommates, or you're like me and you're currently living with your parents, um, my parents were skeptical at first. My dad was skeptical when I told him. Um, and then like a couple weeks ago, I was like, "Can you sign up for this again? Like, can you do this? Can you keep
Mm.
doing this?" And it was like, "Well, it's a lifetime membership, so I am going to continue doing this." There's actually, like, that's why I love the seasons. That seasons is pretty cool. So, start again
Mm.
and go through it again and stay up to date. But anyway, yeah, the people around you will notice that you've taken this class, and you will feel good about yourself. I feel good about myself in ways that I did not before this course. And I would have spent, now that I know how much I got out of it, it's worth so much more than the price I paid for it.